In the previous lecture, we learned what is a contract and the contract process with a flowchart. If you do not yet know about the contract related documents or process involved in purchasing or making any contracts, I request you to look the video link given in the description after this video. In this video, we will learn in depth about the types of contract and the individual contract types with the simulated practice quiz. This could be very beneficial if you are looking for a near project management examination. So basically there are three types of contract: fixed price, cost reimbursable, and time and material. First of all, let's learn about the fixed price contract. These types of contracts are more common in different project environment. Generally, these are used for well-defined products or service specifications and requirements. These are more common in pre-planned projects. For example, these are more common in the construction-related projects. Question: what is the advantage of the fixed price contract to the buyer? The answer is there is less work for the buyer. More work is to the seller side, but the buyer should have well-defined statement of work for this contract. Also, the risk is on the seller side because if the schedule, time or cost increases than what is mentioned in the contract, the risk has to be borne by the seller. Now, we should also know that in fixed price contracts, the seller has strong incentive to control the cost because it has to account for any increase in cost or schedule risk. Another important thing, this type of contract is good if the buyer has past experience on the items or service being bought. As we talked before, it could be good for the customer, but it may also prove costly to the customer or the buyer if the statement of work is not good or not worked properly. Let's get to the second part of this explanatory section, as I always want you to know about the practical applications of what we learn on the theory. You have a question? Mitra had a fixed price contract with Gunjan Cooperative Limited for 100 units of ventilators. The final cost of the parts delivered was found to be more than what was stated in the contract. Who bears the extra amount? Is it the buyer? Is it the seller? Will there be mutual agreement, or does the customer bear the extra cost? I will give you some time to think for the answer, so you can pause the video now. Well, let me reveal the answer. The correct answer to this question is the seller, because in fixed contract, the seller has to bear any extra risks of the cost overruns. There are various types of fixed price contract. Fixed price contract or firm fixed price contract, fixed price incentive fee, fixed price award fee, fixed price with economic price adjustments, and graduated fixed price. As we mentioned, procurement statement of work is very important in fixed price contract, and it should be well defined because adequate information in the statement of work may cause seller asking a higher bid at contract to cover the risk of loss. And it could be serious if the buyer is new and has no information about the scope of the contract. If the statement of work or the procurement statement of work doesn't contain enough information about the scope, the seller may pose future problem on the needs of other resources to be bought. We talked about this term, statement of work, earlier also. The statement of work is the scope of purchasing, what we are interested in buying and why. It may also contain information about the material, what material is required, and how the entire procurement is done. Let's look at the example of fixed price contract or firm fixed price contract. A company is asked to build 10 units of condos at 7,500,000 within 11 months. What type of contract is this? Is this a firm fixed price contract? Is it a fixed price incentive? Or is it a fixed price award fee? The answer is very simple. This is an example of firm fixed price, as the price of contract is fixed. There is no mention of the extra incentive or award to be awarded to the seller here. Second question: is it true that the seller has no incentive, award or profit in the fixed price or firm fixed price contract? The answer is no. The profit is there, but it is not disclosed. Although the incentive or the award is not there, certainly there could be profit. Again, let me remind you that you can download the quick contract selection guide. That could be very beneficial and helpful if you are planning for your project management examination in near future. You can do that by going through the link in the description. Fixed price incentive free contract, FPIF. In this type of contract, for every work done earlier or better, we provide an additional incentive. Let's take a scenario. A company is asked to build 10 units of condos at 7,500,000 within 11 months. For every 1 week built earlier, complying all the requirements and quality tests, an additional $20,000 is awarded. What type of contract is this? This is a fixed price incentive contract because there is an additional incentive to the seller. The other type of fixed price contract is fixed price award fee contract. This is a type of fixed price incentive where the total or the maximum award or incentive is predetermined. A company is asked to build 10 units of condos within 11 months. For every 1 week built earlier, complying all the requirements and the quality tests, an additional $20,000 is awarded with a maximum of $100,000. What type of contract is this? This is a fixed price award contract. There could be other variation to this type of contract. Take an example. For every 20% of the target reached, the salespeople get 25% bonus with a maximum of 5 bonuses on the 5 product line. So here, the award awarded to the seller is dependent on the target reached or the performance of the seller. We have another fixed price contract, that is fixed price economic price adjustment or FPEPA. We know that in project spanning over a long period of time, where the economy is changing and value of currency and material changes, only fixed price contract may not be enough. So we head over to another concept and type of contract called fixed price economic price adjustment. This type of contract looks for the adjustment in contract according to the changes in economy. This is generally for projects that span over a long period of time. Example is construction of the highway. Here, when the price of dollar changes, the material changes, and it takes a long time. So you have a question, what to do when you have a project that spans over a long time? So you have a question, which contract would you choose if you have a project spanning for a long time? It should be fixed price economic price adjustment. Question, a road construction project contract was awarded to a Chinese company Hushay at the base fixed price of $90 million, which was to be completed within 5 years. After 3 years, the material cost increased by 15% with the dollar inflation. What type of contract could be best planned for this type of project? The right answer to this situational question is fixed price economic price adjustment. Another fixed type contract, we have graduated fixed price. This type of contract is generally used in the agile projects. We know that the scope of the agile project changes continuously. So only fixed price contract may not be suitable in this case, as the scope may increase or decrease continuously. The cost of the contract changes as per the work performance. For example, if the project completes sooner, we may pay the team at a higher per hour rate. If the project completes at the time, we can pay the team at the stated hour price. And if the project completes late, we may pay the team with the lower pay per hour rate. Question, as a project manager of a cafe chain construction project, you know that the demands, price and resources needed for the project. Also, you don't have the time to audit invoices. What type of contract would you choose? The options are fixed price, cost reimbursable, and time and material. The correct answer to this question is fixed price contract. So what's the bottom line? Fixed price contract is also beneficial if you don't have time to go after seeing or auditing all the items purchased. Time and material or T&M contracts. In this type of contract, the buyer pays in on units of time or on units of goods purchased. There is generally a time limit for the contract too. The buyer in this type of contract has medium amount of risk. So how is there a risk to the buyer? If the buyer is not certain about the productivity of the machine, equipment or manpower which it is paying in hour basis, there could be a chance of increase in cost. Question. The floor wood parqueting project costs $7 per square foot of floor parqueted plus $15,000 for resources used. This is a type of fixed price contract, cost reimbursement, or time and material, or graduated fixed price. In this type of contract, statement of work could be brief, so this type of contract document can be made and done quickly. Remember, this is always for the project with a brief time span. This may not be good for larger project. But although the contract document may require lesser time to prepare due to less effort to be applied in making the purchase statement of work, it may require a lot of audit from the buyer side. Question. As a project manager of the industry paint project, you know the demands, price, and resources needed for the project. Also, you don't have time to audit invoices. What type of contract would you choose? Your options are fixed price, cost reimbursable, and time and material. This question is tricky. This is not a time and material question because though the contract document in T&M contract can be made early, it may require a substantial amount of time to audit the contract. Question. Suppose you are hiring a Java coder for a brief time to look for the change and maintenance of a software. What type of contract would be most suitable for this kind of scenario? Time and material, fixed price, graduated fixed price, or cost reimbursable? The answer is time and material. For hiring special people or for running a project for a short period of time, time and material contract would be more acceptable. Cost reimbursable or CR. Cost reimbursable simply means the seller provides you or the buyer the product and service asked, but the buyer pays for the cost incurred to the seller. This is generally done when the exact scope of work is unknown. For example, in certain research works where the scope, time, and result is unknown. For example, it could be the project related to the corona vaccines. We can best go with the cost reimbursable. You can go with the cost plus incentive fee or award fee. We will talk about this later. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this type of contract considering the buyer side? First of all, advantage to the buyer. There is less work to do with making a statement of work than a fixed price contract. The disadvantage to the buyer is there could be more risk and the buyer should invest more time in auditing the seller's invoices. There are different types of CR contracts: cost plus fee or cost plus fixed fee, cost plus incentive, cost plus award, and cost plus percentage of cost. There is also a special CR contract, that is cost contract. We will learn that next. But basically in all these types of contract, reimbursable contract, the buyer has more risk and the seller should have a strong account of all the costs incurred, as this has to be paid by the buyer. If anything is left to be presented to the buyer, it is a loss to the seller. First of all, let's look about the cost contract. This is basically used for the project not inclined to make profits but to offer public service. It only covers the seller's cost or resources used. And as I mentioned before, it is usually for the non-profit projects. The other type of contract is cost plus fixed fee. Here, all the cost incurred to the seller is paid and also extra pre-stated fee. Question. The vendor would be paid for all the resources provided during the work and a fixed fee of $50,000. This type of statement of work matches with what type of contract? This is a CPFF or cost plus fixed fee type of contract. Cost plus incentive fee. The seller is paid all the cost incurred plus a fee on the specific objectives met. For example, the buyer bears all the cost incurred plus $1 million for each research that is awarded a forward move pass by FDA. This is a cost plus incentive fee contract. We have cost plus award fee contract also. As the fixed price award fee, there is a maximum cap usually or any other type of award that is provided to the seller if the project completes on time in this type of contract. For example, all cost of the program development plus award fee of $10,000 for each special requirements stated that is met, not to exceed $50,000. Well, we went through a lot of theories and a lot of questions. There is a final question for you. This information could be helpful if you are preparing for any project management related examinations in the near future. Question: which type of contract will you choose if you don't have clearly defined scope, or if it requires high level of expertise or product performance? I will be checking and answering each question in the comment box. Make sure no cheating. Before ending this lecture, if you haven't downloaded the quick contract selection check sheet, please do that now, as that will be immensely helpful in solving the contract and procurement related questions if you are looking for any project management examinations in the near future. Thank you so much for working with me so far in this lecture as well.